OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello guys, welcome back to Outcasted OC. Sorry, I was just reading some of my notes for NXT this week and it just reminded me of something crazy that happened at NXT Deadline. But I really want to talk about Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, but I'm going to have to wait till the end of the night. Well, for most of it, because, they also opened the show. But the ending is just so weird. I'm just struggling to like just not talk about it immediately. But right, okay, we're getting off track incredibly quickly. Right, welcome back to Outcasted OC. This is your NXT review this week. Remember to subscribe and like if you like the video that you're about to see. I'm sorry that it started just so crazily. Well, let's just get straight into it, shall we, guys? Trick Mello are walking into the building. They get stopped by like the paparazzi saying, "Oh yeah, what happened at NXT Deadline was amazing. You won the Iron Survivor Challenge," and like Trick is like talking, and then all of a sudden, like NXT itself just cuts him off and just goes to a recap of Deadline. It was so weird. Like it was really weird. Like he was in the middle of like a promo, he was still talking, and then all of a sudden, like it goes like, this is what happened on Saturday, and it's like, oh right, okay. I didn't want to hear Trick talk anyway. Okay, NXT, whatever. And then we get back. They cut back to him after the recap. And Mello's been attacked, and Trick Williams, like, I don't know where he went, but in the time that he went somewhere and the recap video was on, Carmelo Hayes has been attacked, supposedly, and then Trick Williams doesn't know who did it. And then later on in the night, Mello says he doesn't know who did it, but he might have an idea of who did it because he's been hit like that before, so we might know who did it. Like, make your mind up, Mello. Like, I think Mello's like losing the plot a little bit here. I don't know. It's such a weird segment. And we now go into the ring now where Cora Jade is already in the ring and she starts talking about, I've been gone for 4 months. You guys have missed me. Oh, I bet you have been wearing your Cora Jade t-shirts and kissing your 8x10s of me before you go to sleep at night. You didn't like me then, but oh no, you missed me now. You've been tweeting me all the time saying, oh, where have you been? This, that, and the other. And before she can like carry on doing a fire promo, she gets interrupted by the most boring piece of dialogue I've ever heard out of two people in my life. Like, it sounds like they're literally reading it off Scrypts. And I'm not talking about Reggie. Lyra Valkyria comes out and basically says, you're back and, you attacked me from behind, like, typical Cora Jade. You will get your NXT Women's Championship match, etc. Who then gets interrupted by Blair Davenport and says, basically the same thing. I'm taking your championship at New Year's Evil. I was just watching the screen with just death in my eyes. I was like, what is this? It's like the most blandest piece of conversation I've ever heard in my life. Luckily, Nikita Lyons comes out and starts a fight, because if it wasn't, I think I would have fell asleep. Yeah, Cora Jade, great on the microphone. Lyra Valkyria, usually pretty decent on the microphone. I know Blair Davenport, aka B Priestley, can do better than this on the microphone, but I don't know what like diatribe she gets given by whoever's writing the scripts back in NXT, but it just makes her sound like just a nothing person. It's just so bad, and I don't know why. I don't understand why. All of this leads into a tag team match later on in the night. It is Cora Jade and Blair Davenport versus Nikita Lyons and Lyra Valkyria. Not much to say about this match. We might as well talk about it now. Not much to say about this match, except that before the match, there are two backstage segments where Lyra Valkyria and Nikita Lyons are talking about, Nikita wants revenge on Blair Davenport more than anybody. She put her on the shelf for, nearly a year, cost her a year of her career. So tonight she's going to get her own back on her. Lyra Valkyria agrees and says she'll handle Cora Jade if she's going to handle, Blair Davenport. They're both pretty much gunning for Blair Davenport, though, obviously, because Blair is a number one contender. And Blair also took out Nikita. She goes to open a locker, Lyra Valkyria, and sees a picture of what used to be her and Becky Lynch. And Nikita points out that it's actually Tatum Paxley. And Lyra's like, how did she get into my locker, first of all? And like, she's replaced a picture of Becky with her on like, she's put a face over it. It's really weird. Like, I'm kind of down for it though, because it reminds me of the Mickie James and Trish Stratus storyline from way back in the day. God, that feels like a lifetime ago now. That was when I first started watching wrestling, when it was Mickie James and Trish Stratus around like WrestleMania 22 time. Yeah, that was That was when I first got introduced to wrestling. What a time to be alive, eh? But yeah, anyway, like we go to now to Blair Davenport and Cora Jade. Like I say, we'll just talk about this whole segment now. I'll then get out of the way and then move on to the other things. Cora Jade is telling basically, you know, after you win the championship, I'm going to challenge for it, because Blair Davenport's like, you know, you might not be challenging Lyra Valkyria. Cora Jade doesn't care, but Blair Davenport's a little bit mad at Cora Jade because she said she stole her spotlight at NXT Deadline, because obviously after Blair won the match, Lyra came out and you know, held the title up. Cora Jade came out and attacked her. Cora said she would never have done that if Lyra Valkyria hadn't come out, and it was her that stole the spotlight from you. So tonight, you know, we're going to be handling business, basically. It doesn't really, like I say, with this tag team match, it doesn't really end up being anything particularly special. I will say this is sort of building on the fact that maybe that Cora Jade and Blair Davenport are going to be having a bit of a rivalry, because obviously, like I said before, Blair said that Cora stole the spotlight. Well, in this match, she definitely stole the spotlight, because Blair Davenport pretty much does all of the work in this match until Nikita and Blair start fighting on the outside of the ring. Blair Davenport is distracted, obviously, with the fight. Cora Jade goes into the ring like to capitalize on the damage that she's done and pins Lyra Valkyria, the NXT Women's Champion. So Cora Jade has got a pinfall on the NXT Women's Champion, and obviously Blair Davenport probably isn't going to be very happy about this. So we'll obviously look into that a little bit more in the next couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to NXT New Year's Evil. It's going to be really cool. I want to see Blair Davenport versus Lyra Valkyria. Like I say, the promos weren't the best tonight, but both of them are really good in the ring. And we've also got Trick Williams versus Ilya Dragunov that night, so that's going to be a great match. We've got Dragon Lee saying he wishes Wesley the best, you know, recovery. Obviously, he's going to be out for 8 to 12 months, which is really unfortunate. But he's going to capitalize, you know, after winning the North American Championship, and he is going to live up to the legacy that Wesley left the North American Championship, and he's going to be defending the title as much as possible, and he's going to be doing an open challenge tonight, which turns out to be a really good match, so we will talk about that in a minute. We now go to where the Metaphor, this was a really underrated match in my opinion. It started out at NXT Deadline, obviously at the promos, you know, backstage at NXT Deadline, where Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, Fallon Henley had a bit of a problem with the Metaphor. They had a bit of a fight, and it leads to a 6-man mixed tag team match tonight. And it is Noam Dar, Main Man Mensah, and Last Legend versus Fallon Henley, JB, and BJ. It's a really good match. Like I actually really enjoyed it. There's a spot here where Noam Dar goes for the Nova Roller, and Brooks Jensen, he hits the Nova Roller, but it staggers Jensen back into the corner so Josh Briggs can make the tag, and he just hits a huge clothesline from hell onto Noam Dar for the 1-2-3. So surprisingly, Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen get the victory in this match, which means that Josh Briggs now wants an opportunity to challenge Noam Dar for the UK Heritage Cup, or just the NXT Heritage Cup now, I suppose it's just called. Jensen does not think that this is a good idea, because that's not his style. Apparently, he's more of a one hit like knockout kind of guy. Which obviously, like, Josh Briggs disagrees with him. He says, "No, listen, my style wasn't the Iron Survivor match either, but I did well in that." Oh God, what a match that was, by the way. I more on that on the podcast tomorrow. Just a bit of a spoiler alert for anyone who's going to be watching the podcast tomorrow, but more on that tomorrow. I want to save all of my opinions from the men's Iron Survivor match tomorrow. It was just a brilliant match. We have got a situation here where it looks like Brooks Jensen is maybe causing a bit of a tension. Jensen causing tension, baby, in this little trio. But he ends up being down for it. He ends up being down for Josh Briggs, possibly getting a Heritage Cup match. But there is a little bit of tension between these guys. Obviously, Josh Briggs is getting all of the opportunities. Brooks Jensen isn't really getting any. So is Fallon Henley. She's getting all of the opportunities in the women's division. You know, having a bit of a rivalry with Tiffany Stratton, being in the women's Iron Survivor match. And he looks like he's getting left behind a little bit. You can't do that to Bull Buchanan's son. God damn it. Do you know who that is? I'll tell you who I don't know who they are, but I want to get to know. It is the men's breakout tournament names, and I've wrote them all down. I've wrote them all down because some of these names are just amazing. Some of these names are just unbelievable, right? Names that are definitely names, and I don't want you to question them. So first, we've got Trey Bearhill. Trey Bearhill. Okay. Next we next we have got Dion Lennox. What did these people do in NXT? Did they just get like did they just open a book of names and like just like flip it, and then whatever page it lands on, they just close their eyes and put the name, like, you know, put the finger on the name and then go, oh, we need a surname as well. Let's do that again. Bang. Oh, I am Dion Lennox. Like, what? Dion Lennox. Like, I've never heard anyone in my life be called Dion Lennox. We've got Luca Crucifino. For you old school NXT fans from a couple of years ago, you might recognize Luca Crucifino. He was part of one of Tony D's storylines. So let's hope that when this NXT Breakout Tournament is over, he joins the family and becomes the lawyer for the family. You got to do what you do for the family. You know what I mean? Because his whole gimmick is he is a lawyer. So I think it'd be cool if he was a mob lawyer. I think that'd be... I want to see the Tony D family like expand a little bit and to have a mob lawyer. Classic like mafia stuff. Next we have got Tavion Heights, and this was the best thing ever. Like just the best thing ever. Last week on NXT, I didn't talk about it because I said I just skipped over the breakout tournament thing, but I wish I'd have talked about it now because I went back and had a look. So Tavion Heights, right? He came in at the top. And he is not leaving NXT until he is at the top. This was actually what he said, right? So what he's saying is he came up at the top of the mountain, and he is not leaving until he stays where he came in at the top of the mountain. Whoever wrote that, whoever wrote that needs an award, okay? I'm Tavion Heights, and if I need to stay exactly where I came in at the top. It's like, okay. Next we have got Keanu Carver. Now this guy looks impressive. He is part of a match later on, which was dope. We have got Riley Osborne representing Chase U, the guy who Thea Hale has a bit of a crush on. We've got Miles Bourne, the guy who is training with Drew Gulak and the gang. We already know how good he is. There's someone else who's really good. Obafemi, he's really good. There's two like really big guys, and like obviously one of them is Carver, and the other one is Obafemi, and these two are just absolutely massive. I hope like they have a bit of character development in the next year or so, but these two can just go so far just with the size of these MFers, man. Like it's unbelievable how big these guys are. Lexus King is an idiot. I just want to say, because at the end of the segment, he just attacks Tion Bearhill. Is his name Tion? Sorry, I forgot all the really... Oh, no, Trey Bearhill. Sorry, I forgot all the wacky names. He attacks Trey Bearhill, and later on in the night, he finds out that he is replacing him in the men's breakout tournament because he is still new, even though he's had a PLE and stuff. But Lexus King is now in the men's breakout tournament, unfortunately, replacing Trey Bearhill, which I'm sad about. I wanted to see Mr. Mr. Hill Bear have a match. I really want to meet the person who comes up with these names, and if it's the wrestlers themselves, then good for you. We get a first round match in the men's breakout tournament straight after this, and it is Miles Bourne versus Obafemi. Really impressive match it. Like I just want to talk about the power on display here. Like Jesus Christ, like just the power on display from Obafemi is absolutely amazing. Like he is just throwing Miles Bourne around the ring, and Miles Bourne is not a tiny guy. He's pretty big. He's about 6'4", and Obafemi is just like ragdolling this guy. Miles does get a couple of good hits in here, but it just isn't to be because Obafemi just hits an absolutely beautiful pop-up powerbomb, which looks even more impressive considering his size. It looks like it absolutely kills. And Obafemi goes into the next round of the NXT Men's Breakout Tournament. Tiffany Stratton says she is sick of Fallon Henley and she's going to be dealing with her next week. Okay, cool. Like, I feel like Tiffany Stratton could be doing better things with her time, to be honest with you, but it's okay. I'm fine with it. Like, it's one of those things where like Fallon Henley needs something to do because she is a good talent, but Tiffany Stratton, in my opinion, is quite above her in the pecking order, so she could be doing something else. We now go to something more interesting, where it is Dragon Lee's open challenge, and it turns out to be Tyler Bate Tyler Bate is the guy who is going to be facing him tonight. Oh my God. Like this is a dream match. This could be on a pay-per-view. It's so good. Like it's probably the match of the night. Tyler Bate obviously is fantastic, and I think he does deserve to be on the main roster right about now. I'm surprised Dragon Lee came back down to NXT to win the North American Championship. Hopefully he stays doing his thing on SmackDown as well. But Tyler Bate definitely needs to move up to SmackDown or Raw at this point, because he did end up losing this match. But let me just tell you, like, so good. Like classic airplane spin here from Tyler Bate. Lucha Libre just absolutely on display from Dragon Lee. Amazing. Just like sequences of moves. I'm tongue twisted just because I'm thinking about all the great things that happened in this match. One of the best matches in NXT, like for a while, especially on TV. We have a moment here where Dragon Lee goes to finish off Tyler Bate with a power bomb. Tyler Bate slips out of it into the Tyler Driver 97, which also gets counted into Operation Dragon, which finishes off Tyler Bate, unfortunately. So good. Bop and Bang gets counted here with a super kick from Dragon Lee. He eventually hits Bang like a big left hand, and all of the sequences into one move. It's so beautiful from these two people. Like just the chemistry that these two guys have, like on a different level. Next, we have Dijak versus Eddie Thorpe. Not much to say about this match, to be honest with you, except Eddie Thorpe is getting battered again by Dijak. Eddie Thorpe interrupts Dijak to entrance. He doesn't even really get to have a match, to be honest with you. The bell eventually does ring, and then when it does ring, Dijak just attacks Eddie Thorpe's ribs, his injured ribs. He hits him into the turnbuckle where the top rope all falls off. Dijak then just starts hitting him with a turnbuckle, which gets him disqualified, obviously. And then Eddie Thorpe is injured again. I don't know if he's injured like for a long time. He's probably going to miss next week, maybe, because Dijak just destroys him here, and then he throws him onto the second turnbuckle, like in like sort of a flapjack maneuver. So yeah, Eddie Thorpe is like down for the count here. So we now go to Chase U, and we find out a little bit more information about what's been happening, how they've been trying to raise money to pay off this debt that they owe Tony D'Angelo. The audience doesn't know that, and Chase U doesn't know that it's Tony D'Angelo that Andre Chase owes, but it's pretty easy to work out if you've been watching the product for the past couple of months. It looks like the bake sale made a bit of money. They earned $66, and the car wash earned $250. Duke Hudson does not look impressed though, because he says, it's all right, but it only pays off a quarter of a quarter of a quarter of a quarter. He then says Andre Chase looks like shit. And Andre Chase promises he's going to find a way to make more money. And you guys need to keep, thinking of stuff to make money for the university to try and save Chase U, because, none of us want Chase U to go down the pan. JC Jane and Thea Hale talk about, who was his name? Oh yeah, Riley Osborne, saying that let's go sit in the Chase U section and watch his match in the men's breakout tournament. So obviously they disappear. So after this, Scrypts comes into the university, into the lecture room, and says he has a proposition for Andre Chase. What is this proposition? It could be, is Scrypts going to lend Andre Chase the money? Is he going to try and get out the mud into Chase University? Is he going to try and hire Chase University to help out the mud? I don't know at this point, but it kind of looks like Scrypts and OTM are like a criminal organization as well. And he's going to lend him the money to pay off the other criminal organization, which is the Mafia family. Let me say this right. OTM are heels. Tony D and Stacks are faces. Both of them look like they are criminal organizations. So what's the difference? They're both doing the exact same thing, but one of them's a heel and one of them's a face. I'll let you guys work that out. I don't know. It's weird. We now get the next men's breakout tournament match, which is Keanu Carver versus Riley Osborne. And all I can say about Keanu Carver is, wow, this guy is massive, absolutely huge. I don't know where you got this guy from, but he is massive. There's a point in this match where he's able to do a fall away slam and doesn't even leave his feet. He just throws Riley Osborne across the ring. It's very impressive to see, to be honest with you. There's a point here where Riley Osborne is coming off the ropes to do something, trying to mount just some sort of offense on Keanu, and Keanu just hits this pounce that sends Riley Osborne out of the ring, and it reminds me of Marcus Corvon Do you remember him from ECW? Now there's a name that you've not heard for a while. He used to do a really cool pounce. I used to love the pounce that he did. Somehow, I don't even know really how this happened. Somehow Riley is able to recover and hit a shooting star press on Keanu for the 1-2-3. So he advances to the next round of the men's breakout tournament, and Keanu is out. I'm really surprised about this, to be honest with you. Like, I'm fine with it though. It looks like he's going to get pushed because the commentary are very high on him. Booker's very high on him, and so is Vic Joseph. Both of them make a point to say, don't count out Keanu. Don't take nothing away from him. So hopefully we're going to be seeing more from him in the next couple of weeks. But he is a very impressive individual. For his size, he can move very fast, and he has got a lot of strength on him. But Riley Osborne, once again, like I said, is really good in the ring. I've not really seen much of his work, but he's very impressive. I want to see more from him though in this tournament. He didn't really get much offense in on Keanu because Keanu was just doing his thing in this match. So I want to see more offense from Riley Osborne during this tournament. I want to talk about now. We go backstage to where Gulak accepts Dragon Lee's North American Championship challenge for next week for one of the guys, that being either Damon Kemp, Charlie Dempsey, or himself, or even Miles Bourne. He just says we accept, basically, and Dragon Lee says, which one of you guys are going to be challenging me? And he goes, I have to find out that next week, unfortunately, my guy. I'm very sorry about that. We stay backstage now where Thea Hale is congratulating Riley Osborne. She's a bit nervous around him, and he goes, right, I'm going to go get a shower. And she goes, yeah, you look sweaty, but you smell really nice. You don't need a shower, but you're sweaty. Oh, obviously you're not from here. And he goes like, no, I'm from the UK. I'll see you later. And Thea's all nervous and stuff like that. JC Jane sort of hid listening to the conversation. When she comes out, Thea says, how did I do? And JC's just like, he's cute. You didn't do well, Thea. I'm sorry. Eventually, I think the guy and the guy will get the girl, or the girl will get the guy in this case. We go backstage again to Hank and Tank, where they are talking about challenging the oh my god, Gallus next week. Sorry, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I was getting a little bit bored of NXT by the end of this. The last half of NXT was quite difficult to get through until we get to the main event promo segment. It was very difficult to get through, just because we have this Hank and Tank segment that I just don't care about. Joe Gacy comes out of nowhere and says, "Hey Joe, and this is an actual quote. Hey Joe, it takes a Joe to know a Joe, and there's nothing like a cup of Joe." And then just walks away. And I'm just like, what is this? What am I watching with Joe Gacy? I don't know anyone who cares about Joe Gacy at this point. Ever since the schism broke up, it's been nothing. He's been on the roof, he's been under the ring, he stole a ring bell, and now he's doing this. I have no idea why I am supposed to be invested in this. No one should be invested in Joe Gacy at this point. I don't care. He needs to be repackaged. He needs to have an actual storyline. He needs to have something on the go. But whatever this is that they're doing with him is not it. Okay. So let's just move on straight to the main event segment here. Trick Williams comes out and says, he was at the bottom of the pile, basically, at the Iron Survivor. I don't know if you watched the match, the men's Iron Survivor, but Trick Williams had 0 points up until the final 40 seconds, and then he won with 4 points. It was incredible to see. Really cool to see. But he says he is that guy. He's Trick James. He is Trick Jordan. He is Kobe Trick. You just call him all of that. He's the guy now in NXT. He is like I said, he is a Trick James, bitch, and the crowd absolutely love it. He gets on the microphone, by the way, at the very start, and sings along to his own theme song and says exactly what Booker T says, which Booker T loves. Ilya Dragunov says, a couple of weeks ago we was having a conversation and you told me that I brought you to a new level, and I said I was proud of you. You should be proud of yourself. You are now the guy in NXT. You've been doing such a good job. You should be proud of yourself, and your family should be proud of you. But I am sorry, I'm the one to say, at New Year's Evil, your story comes to an end. Basically, Ilya is saying, you ain't getting past me. You ain't taking this NXT championship away from me. And Trick Williams says, the Trick a couple of weeks ago probably would have agreed with you, but if you look into my eyes now, I am him. I am that guy in NXT, and I am taking the NXT championship from you. Before this can even continue, before this can even get wrapped up, Carmelo Hayes comes out and says, Trick, I know this is like between you and Ilya, and Trick says, like, yeah, it is. Like, now isn't the time, Melo. Like, you know, basically like telling him to go away. And he goes, no, 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 no. This needs to happen now. That business that we were talking about before, this needs to be dealt with now. And Ilya's just like, okay, whatever. I'll go then. See you later. And Carmelo says, no, 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 stay. Because I know who attacked me. I have felt that hit before. I have been hit like that before, and I know who the person is who attacked me. And it was you, Ilya Dragunov. And he starts trying to convince Trick Williams, like, think about it. Who has the most to gain from Trick Melo Gang breaking up and, you know, attacking each other? Who had the most to gain? It was Ilya Dragunov. Ilya Dragunov. He knew he couldn't beat me up straight, and I was about to beat him for the championship. But then you came out, Trick, and you distracted me, which allowed Ilya Dragunov to get the victory. And that was his plan all along. And Ilya Dragunov's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, it wasn't me that attacked you. Like, I don't need to attack anybody. That is Melo if you even did get attacked. And Trick Williams dropping a Booker T line here again, going, tell me you didn't just say that. There's a moment here where Trick Williams is like, all right, Melo, I think you said your piece. Let's deal with this later. And Melo says, no, 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 no. We need to deal with this now. We need to get our get back. Like, he attacked us. We need to take care of this. He's trying to split us up. He doesn't want us to be together or united because he knows he's got a problem when Trick Melo Gang are together. And then he goes to attack Ilya Dragunov, but then Trick Williams ends up getting hit. And then the crowd ends the show by saying Melo is guilty. Now, if you want my opinion on this, this has gone on for too long. Can we get some answers, please? I do kind of like the whole thing where, like, Carmelo Hayes is trying to get Ilya Dragunov in the doghouse, trying to manipulate Trick Williams, because it is clearly Carmelo Hayes behind all of this. I think we're going to be getting a little bit of a segment in the next couple of weeks where it turns out that Carmelo Hayes wasn't even attacked, and if he was, it was planned. I think we're going to be getting some like backstage footage from like NXT Anonymous or somebody like that. I think that Carmelo Hayes is going to end up costing Trick Williams the NXT Championship at New Year's Evil. And like I've been saying for the past month now, NXT Stand and Deliver WrestleMania weekend, Trick Melo Gang is going to break up. Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams will be the main event. And it should be. Guys, that was your episode of NXT this week. What did you guys think of it? Let me know in the comments. It was a bit of an up and down show for me. I loved the men's breakout tournament, guys. I love the two matches that came out of that. Dragon Lee versus Tyler Bate was really good. The tag team match between Cora Jade, Nikita Lyons, all of those people, like, was a bit disappointing for me. Some of the backstage segments felt a little bit unnecessary. Get Joe Gacy off of my screen. The whole bit at the start with Cora Jade, that was cool, but then after that, it all fell off the rails, that backstage segment. There were just some things that did not need to be on the show, and I think they were glaringly obvious, the ones that I am talking about. So it wasn't the best episode of NXT this week, but that is just my thoughts of it. Let me know what you think in the comments, like I've just said, guys. Go follow us on TikTok, on X/Twitter, and Instagram if you want more content from us, guys. If you want to see the Raw review, check out Courtney's. She brought that out yesterday. We have a SmackDown review coming for you guys on Saturday, but stay tuned for tomorrow on the podcast because it is the year-end awards. Outcasted are handing out the Outcasted year-end awards, you know, best superstars, best match, best pay-per-view, etc. Make sure you stay tuned for that. But for now, guys, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. Have a great Thursday. Peace out.